हेलो हेलो हेलो। ना ना, कॉपीराइट नहीं है इस पे। कॉपीराइट नहीं है।
Grand finals are finally here, the most important match of their career. The battle with blood, sweat, and tears to be the first champion of this year. But the hardest opponent yet remains, the ultimate battle of the brains. It's FNATIC and Sentinels yet again, a best of 5 to separate boys from men. And AEU Twitch chat, let the spam begin. And AEU, show me why you wanna win. Take it away. Let the spam begin. And AEU, show me why you wanna win. And AEU, Twitch chat, let the spam begin. And AEU, show me why you wanna win.
It's the moment we've all been waiting for, an epic confrontation between two juggernaut teams to settle the score in Masters Reykjavík Grand Finals once and for all. My name is Golden Boy, and I'm your host live from the Riot Studios in Los Angeles. And I brought some friends with me as well to kick off this momentous occasion. We got Potter, Vansili, and my main man. We got the Mitch man here as well. It's a pleasure to have the three of you joining me here today. And we're all fanced up nicely, you know, all dressed up as well. And let's be honest, none of us could ever beat the talent of Average Jonas. So shout out to that guy. Check out his co-stream. He's an incredible human being. Love you, brother. All right, but let's just jump right into it because a lot went down yesterday, and three teams were battling to see who will face off against Sentinels in the finals. And FNATIC proved to have a strong mental game as they played a marathon yesterday, Mitch. And one player in particular actually had like one of the best days of his life, and we didn't really talk about it all that much.
Yeah, it was insane, right? This guy right here, Magnum. I don't think I've seen him perform this well, especially considering what was on the line. And we're talking not just about the most recent game they played versus NewTurn, which was the second BO3, right? At the end of that marathon, but also versus Liquid. At the end of the day, he had 85 kills compared to Durka's 87. And although Durka maybe outshined him a little bit to take that MVP towards the end of the day, the consistency shown by Magnum was unbelievable. He was also, versus Liquid, involved in the same number of opening duels as Durka. And considering he's a Sky/Sentinel, that's pretty damn impressive. The general impact that he was able to find, especially in those important clutch situations that we see a lot of in that clip, really showed that he's a player that can be underestimated at times. And if he can deliver the same kind of performance today, it could be the difference maker.
Yeah, this FNATIC team have a lot of weapons in their arsenal. We'll talk more about that in a moment, but still reflecting on that day, Potter, this very well could have been Sentinels versus NewTurn, given that Korea, they looked really strong. The Korean team looked fantastic, and even though FNATIC got the better of them, still hats off to NewTurn.
Definitely hats off. And you know, NewTurn all weekend long, they absolutely showed that Korea can be a contender on that international stage. And let me tell you, Lakia, he is absolutely a superstar in the making. This young man always led the charge on the stats side of things. But not only that, these guys, they gave us brilliant rounds and clutches through teamwork and prep. And they were also able to go toe-to-toe with the best of the best in the world on a mechanical level. And that's been the question, right? And so it's been just a character building experience for the entire squad altogether. And that's going to mean a lot, especially for the younger ones on this squad. So I just can't wait to see them here at at the next land competing.
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of talent in that region, Van Silly, but, you know, one player, though, that everyone has been talking about because there has been some confusion was the legendary Solo as well, Van.
For sure, and at the same time, it was going to be so heartbreaking because they got third place. They represented Korea. They put Korea on the map for Masters 2, and then suddenly at a press conference, it sounded like Solo said that it was his last game on land, on stage, competitively. But thankfully, after the clarifications on Twitter from himself, from Slasher, then we know that he still has some fire inside of him. And I'm happy to see that because I'm like, hey, if he wants to retire soon, let's at least wait until the end of the year because him and Perry played some phenomenal Valorant, and I'd love to see them at least compete, hopefully, on the stage in Berlin.
Yeah, and I think the lesson we can learn here is, come on, Slasher, get it right the first time, dog. You know, that's really it. Anyway, messing around. But now, finals days means that the top two regions in the world are here to clash. It's North America versus Europe, Sentinels versus FNATIC in a best-of-5 series to be crowned the first ever VCT Global Champion. All roads led to this. FNATIC have looked outstanding, but Sentinels have remained to be the team to beat. And you know, look, guys, they fought hard, a FNATIC, in that lower bracket to make it out and have this rematch with Sentinels. And it feels like this time it's personal, right? Like they really want to get this dub. And the first match with Sentinels and FNATIC ended in a 2-0. It was 13-11 both maps. Now, Mitch, let's break this down map by map and the last time they faced off because we started things on Icebox. And again, this was a very close clash between these two teams.
Yeah, it definitely was, right? 13-11 almost swung the other way with the exception of a couple of rounds, and you can definitely rely on the clutches coming out of that North American region based on what we saw there. The super interesting thing for me was that Durka on that map did not show up in nearly the way that we expect them to. On the next one, which we'll talk about in a bit, the AWP wasn't really a feature, but here Durka is usually very, very scary to play against, and yet he had a middling performance. It's funny, because we talk about a bad game for Durka, and it still looks better than a lot of players' average games. But the reality is this is such a key factor for FNATIC a lot of the time, and considering Sentinels shut him down, and FNATIC still managed to get up to those 11 rounds with some very close losses along the way, I think we have to be very fearful if an icebox comes up early in the veto process.
Yeah, and then moving on to map 2, Potter, we went to Haven, and again, it was a similar story there as well. A close game that it 13-10, right? You could see in the final scoreboard. That was quite the matchup, and Durka even having a great game as well for this team.
He did have a great one on this one, but you know, it was a bit of a slow start in the beginning. FNATIC, they only started and managed to get 4 rounds on the board on their attacking side, and Sentinels, they did a fantastic job of contesting FNATIC and not allowing them to get in those optimal post-plant scenarios that we know that they excel at. So, of course, the unpredictability of Dapper coming out, and it was just too strong. He was flying out of the heaven, he was hiding in his cages, he was biding his time, and he was always ready to pounce. So it made things even more difficult. I think Sentinels, they have a fantastic, strong information game. They deny it, they keep it, and it allows them to over-rotate and always be ready for that incoming hit that FNATIC love to do.
And I think it's on that point that, or those points that Christina has brought up, that I feel that Sentinel should be taking Haven as that first map. Like, I know that they're really good on Split. They're pretty much unstoppable on Split too, but I'd be wary of that pick because for FNATIC's side, we don't really know what they could come out with. The only footage that we have on FNATIC is that they played a triple duelist setup most recently against Team Liquid, and it did not look good. But we've seen from the interviews with Boaster, post interview says that he has a lot of anti-strat sessions at the hotel room with Coach Mini, and I feel that they have something that might come out of like the ace under the sleeve that could potentially upset Sentinels on that first map if it's going to be on Split. And that pick for me is if they actually switch out the Reyna to like a Sky or a Breach, I feel that they have a lot of utility that could actually overshadow and overpower the turtle setups that Sentinels actually have on that map.
Yeah, you know, maybe incorporating the like an initiator could possibly be the recipe for success here. And on the Sentinel side, Potter, a player who's been instrumental to this team's success has been Shazam. He's the player coach, captain, whatever you want to label him as, but he's Mr. Do-It-All of the squad. He's the hero we all deserve.
The Mr. Do-It-All, I think that perfectly describes Shazam. You know, we always talk about it. He's the in-game leader of the squad. He's responsible for setting the pace, setting the tone within the team, and he's doing a fantastic job about it. We always talk about his mind for the game, but the vibes that he provides for the squad with the contagious laugh, all of it, it's all pluses. But take a look at his mechanics. Take a look at these highlights. He's more than capable to take over rounds, mechanically speaking, and provide insane multi-kills and turn things around for the squad that they had no business winning. And that sort of X factor in an in-game leader, that's just icing on the cake. That's a luxury that a lot of teams do not have, but Sentinels, they absolutely do.
Yeah, it's no doubt that across the board here, both of these teams have a lot to offer. And Mitch, whenever we talk about these stats, we like to compare players who play similar roles, but very rarely do we actually talk about players who have a very high probability of encountering one another multiple times in a game. And I know in this instance, Sick and Durka has, basically you have him in your sights here. Why is that?
So yeah, it might seem like a weird comparison, right? You'd expect maybe to see 10s up there in a comparison with Durka, but for me, on Haven specifically, the battle between Durka and Sick was intense. It felt like every time Sick, who had just swapped off the Sova onto the Phoenix, he was trying to find a little bit of space for his team, whether it's attack or defender sided, and Durka would be there on the jet, taking that duel, dashing out, untradeable. We saw the run it back from Sick not really have that much impact. In fact, on the defender side to start things out, I'd almost say he was pretty much useless for the team. Even when the ultimate came online, there was like that round where FNATIC got the 4th on the board, which was still a terrible half, but at least gave them the foothold to fight back to double digits and make it a competitive half. That was where we saw the run it back used to go in to retake the A site. They didn't have a good enough spacing to trade it. They tried to play off the information, lost the duels to Mystic, and ultimately lost the round. And for me, the real highlight there was Durka. He dominated opening duels and just heads up duels versus Sick, who was on the Phoenix. The ultimate didn't serve much. On the defender side, he got blindsided a lot and wasn't really able to slow pushes or take duels efficiently. So for me, I look at that agent pick and I'm like, maybe we're better off not going for a Phoenix. I mean, we know that Haven could possibly come up. Vansili even highlighted that there's potential for Sentinels to pick it. And if they do, I don't want to see Phoenix come out again. It seems like FNATIC have got them figured out on that. And something like a Sage slotted in there instead, whether Sick would take the Sova back or take the Sage, it doesn't matter. Shazam could swap off to the other. Then I think I see a whole lot more that they can actually do with that agent if they decide to make a little bit of a change.
Yeah, it's so many questions heading into this matchup, guys, and we also want to hear from you. So get out there, use that hashtag Verizon 5G All Chat. We'll feature your tweets throughout today's broadcast. So give us some spicy tweets, okay? And maybe we'll bless you down here, you know. Also on Twitter, we had a poll at Valorant Esports asking everyone who they thought was going to win the grand finals, and you voted that Sentinels will be our champions by 71%. But it's time for our analysts to sit on that hot seat now. Let's go down the line, start with predictions. Potter, who you got for our grand finals?
Oh, this is a tough one for me. You know, I think FNATIC, they've been heating up as the tournament goes on, and each series that they've shown up, they've looked better and better. But I still got to stick with Sentinels. I think their information game, it is just too strong. They're always able to just push their opponents off those choke points, keep their opponents guessing, and at that point, they've got free reign. They can do whatever they want. I got to stick with Sentinels here, Golden Boy.
All right, Vansili, what about for you, brother?
Oh, man, I'm probably going to have to go with Sentinels no matter what here at this point. Although, I don't think that we're going to see a sweep from Sentinels in this series. There's still potential, especially on Bind, that FNATIC could take one map away of the series to end it 3-1. I just find that overall, it's going to be the first challenge, the real challenge at least for Sentinels, to see what FNATIC is capable of. But it's still going to be NA to reign supreme.
All right, Mitch, the fans have spoken. Your colleagues have spoken. Where are you going, man? What's your prediction?
I'm going to surprise everybody here and pick FNATIC, of course.
No.
The reason for it, though, isn't just my EU bias, right? I think this team adapts better than any other team out there, certainly in the EMEA region. And when I look at the series last time, it was super close. Icebox didn't have Durka showing up. I can definitely see a world in which they take that, they take Bind, and hey, only one out of the other three needs to go their way. So I'm feeling Fnatic.
Hey, man, you know, I respect the decision there. It's going to be an incredible matchup. And without further ado, it is all led to this. The grand finals of Masters Reykjavík starts right now.
It will end with EU versus NA, a rematch of the initial upper bracket match.
We feel really confident because we've been 2-0ing every single team so far, and going on to the grand finals, we're confident we can 3-0 them. It's feeling good.
I'm gagging for it, man. I want to take them down, bro. They've taken us down 2-0, but I'm coming back. I really want that win. I want that dub badly.
Sentinels are getting scarier every time they play on lane.
We're not going to be happy till we win the whole thing. The finals is going to be the hardest match.
This win will mean everything for not only me, but the boys, the team, the staff. It's electric. Our energy on the stage is definitely something else. We play for each other, we win for each other.
I feel like we just have 5 very well-rounded players.
It's such a complete team that honestly just shows no weakness.
It means a lot for me and my team that EU is better than NA, and we are here to prove that.
People are talking about all these other regions, but Zom's Nation has taken it all.
Sentinels, we took down your little brother, and now we're coming for you.
Good luck, you're gonna need it.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Masters 2 Reykjavík, the grand finals between, of course, the European Titans, FNATIC, versus North America's best, Sentinels. This is history in the making, the first global LAN event ever in Valorant history. Riv, I am beyond excited for this one. How are you feeling?
Dan, I've got chills up and down. Everything we're witnessing now is so much work put into over a year now. These teams going through trials and tribulations to get here with roster swaps, everything outside the game and inside the game that has affected them. Still, they're gunning to be champions here today at the Valorant Masters tournament here in Reykjavík for the championship, the grand finals. Dan, we're here finally. We have the map veto selection, or sorry, just the map selection as all 5 maps will be played. And this map selection makes me so happy as it comes through because it looks like we will be getting maps that give us what I think the best chance at getting to a Game 5. Everyone's strength going back and forth, punch for punch in the picks. And it could absolutely be a very good series all the way to a Game 5.
Totally agree with you. So with you on all of that. I think that the stylistic matchup of these two teams is incredibly interesting because it's the test of a team in FNATIC that does immense preparation, immense focus on the tactical and strategical elements. But looking across the way, you have Sentinels who they themselves understand how this game is played, that it is a game that can be won through preparation, but the focus in their team is on the individual talent and skill and having a system that is loose and provides for each of those players in that system. And so you have two ultimately different systems, but the way that these teams clash in the map pool is actually pretty even when you consider all of those factors. So I agree. This matchup has the making to really deliver. And if we look on the previous matchup, which we had the pleasure to cast, Riv, that game actually could have gone FNATIC's way.
And then one thing you have to point out about those matches, Dan, we talked about it. The pistol rounds at the beginning of each map for Icebox and Haven went 1-1. It did not go 2-0 for either team. The bonuses weren't there to be used. And those maps ended up 13-11 and 13-10. So if a team here can solidify those pistol rounds, it may tell a different story. Looking at FNATIC for pistol rounds there.
हाँ भाई देख रहा है क्या?
देख रहा है क्या लियो?
एक मिनट रुक, तेरी आवाज नहीं आ रही।
हेलो?
हाँ अब आ रही है।
अबे मैच देख रहा तू?
अबे मस्त देख। सेंटिनल्स इजी तो नहीं होगा भाई। मैं तो FNATIC को सपोर्ट कर रहा हूँ। FNATIC, मैं कह रहा हूँ FNATIC जीत जाए, एने वालों का मुंह बन जाएगा।
अबे उसके सर्वर पे आना। स्टार के सर्वर पे आना, वो भी बैठा।
स्टार को बुलाना है इधर ही।
What we expected coming in. The plays through challengers 2-1 here were, I think, 10 for Sentinels with a very high win rate and only 3 for FNATIC. So you can see why Sentinels want to target split. Yes, there was the boot camp by FNATIC, but Sentinels and everybody hasn't been able to see what that boot camp was able to do. They feel like they can get the aggression and the advantage on split to start with this being their pick.
And here we are, ladies and gents, Sentinels versus FNATIC here, map 1 of the best of 5 grand finals here at Masters 2 Reykjavík. And it is starting. Sentinels, what have they got to show us here? They're going to be on the attack, taking the initiative. But FNATIC, you may think that they're actually on the attack here because they're making a quick move, taking that A main control right as Sentinels work their way through mid.
Bind में तो भाई
Picked up on the other side by Dapper as he comes around to see what happens. Beautiful tripwire by
कौन लेगा?
Started off, and it looks like the defense pays off, but 10's answers back.
4v4.
Yeah, the
Trace coming through here as site control is being vied for and is in a lot of trouble. Will get taken down by Sick and Sentinels.
भाई ये अलग ही मैच है भाई ये.
Spawn will deny any entry for FNATIC, so we'll get Doma and Durka making their way across.
3v2.
Heaven. There's no real opportunity to go anywhere else at this point. They're just gonna send it with the dash. Durka with a nice opening, but needs 2 more to go. It's gonna be difficult to find those. It's now just Doma with the Ghost. Sentinels will be toying with Durka, and in fact, they're just gonna finish things off. The opening pistol round will be won by Sentinels.
ठीक है पहला राउंड था. अरे कोई सा भी ज्वाइन कर ले, मैं ड्रैग कर लूँगा. उसको बोल कुछ भी ज्वाइन कर ले.
A bit of a read, delay, and then hit. Looks like they wanted B the whole time. And FNATIC almost coming up really nice there on the retake as they dove back into the site. We'll see if they can grab it again. Durka is not going for the Marshall. But then again, Dan, you mess up your economy on split, and it starts to go very bad.
Yeah, and once again, we're getting this focus from FNATIC on A main, and this is something I think we can think about.
Split FNATIC जीतेगी.
Pressure this so much. Sentinels seem naturally also.
ये बोल क्यों नहीं रहा? आवाज नहीं जा रही क्या इसको? या मुझे नहीं आ रही? या ये बोल नहीं रहा?
FNATIC, they will be picked off one by one here. They are just on pistols, and they did manage to gain the orb on A main, so that's a small victory. Frag would be nice too.
Yeah, making this round a little bit safer for them.
Mind games.
As Dapper is able to see the rotation coming from more than one, they can assume that's where B Heaven is going to get the action. As Dirk is just waiting for some frags to come through.
अभी तू होता Sentinels की जगह तो क्या बोलता? B पे तो जाओ कोई. फिर भी जीत गई बे. अच्छा उसका FNATIC है. ये तो इको था. डिमोटिवेट हो जाता है क्या? बे आजकल ये लोग वो बहुत यूज कर रहे हैं. पिस्टल विन सीधा वो ले लेते हैं. बुलडॉग. हाँ. टू ने ला भाई. ऐसा भी होता है क्या? किसी का कोई मैप नहीं होता? प्रोफेशनल प्लेयर का भी मैप नहीं होता क्या? तो अब तक तो कर लिया होगा ना? अब तक तो कर लिया होगा कि ये तब से नहीं जीत रहे भाई. भाई सबसे बुरा पता है मुझे किसके लिए लगा? V1 के लिए. भाई प्लेन में बिठा के घर भेज दिया भाई FNATIC ने. देखा क्या वो खतरनाक था. हाँ भाई मस्त था वो. घर सीधे घर. यात्रीगण कृपया यहाँ से प्लेन उड़ान भरेगा. पूरा वही तैयारी करके आया था, प्लानिंग करके. ओ भाई 3v2 है. इजी FNATIC का राउंड. बी में ने बी में. ओ बाबे यार शॉट भाई. हाँ फैंटम उठा रहा है ये तो. सिद्धू वाला काम किया इसने तो. ये गन उठा के कभी क्लच नहीं होता. नहीं हुआ रे. खत्म राउंड. अरे वो कर दे YouTube को 2x कर दे. फिर डीले हट जाएगा. हाँ अच्छा. अब ट्विच में ना रिप्ले नहीं देख सकता, वो बुरा लगता. श्राउड का डील है ना, क्योंकि श्राउड तो देख रहा है ना, श्राउड स्ट्रीम कर रहा है ना.
Sentinels, though, you know, they are defaulting here, so
ट्विच में पीछे नहीं होता,
amounts of pressure on the defense. You can see on the minimap the rotation that's come
नहीं होता बे.
They have to respect this, and because of that, Shazam able to get a backstab, sneaking through ropes. And Tens is going to try to capitalize here. Pulls out the showstopper, looking for those defenders. Oh, he's actually missed both right below him. And that might give an opportunity here for FNATIC to hold on to this.
2v2 है. Easy FNATIC.
In position on elbow.
Sentinels getting a little too crazy there. Just reacting off of thinking they had FNATIC dead to rights. FNATIC never dead to rights. You have to realize that. They're here for a reason, and they're ready to play, trying to pull this one back into their favor now. Magnum with the Spectre versus 2.
भाई
Such great movement there from both Sentinels players. Now that really does put Mystic in a difficult position.
30 seconds left.
FNATIC.
तेरा गेम सेंस क्या चल रहा है? अबे सेंटिनल ले गया यार. तेरा गेम सेंस नहीं है, इसलिए प्लेट है तू. ये लोग इसलिए रेडिएंट है, दोनों नीचे गए. प्लेट होता तो एक ऊपर रखता है. ये तो भाई इम्पॉसिबल राउंड है. इम्पॉसिबल राउंड है, इम्पॉसिबल राउंड. सेंटिनल्स 3-1. बे यार वो हेवन से थोड़ा सा नीचे वो कर लेता ना, फॉल बैक कर लेता ना. जिगल पीक लेके फिर खड़ा क्यों रहा वो वहाँ पे? वो ऑब्वियसली बात है, वो दोनों मारेंगे ही भाई. ये कहाँ से आ गया? सेज वॉल तो कर भाई. कॉम्पी 3 मैजिकल वर्ड, मिड वॉल तोड़ो.
And there won't be any time right now either, because we have the initial setup here on game from both teams, and that ice orb, it's so high value in the sense of that 100 credits just allows you to just prevent the other team from making any aggressive moves, so you just win that control straight away.
18 जून को वर्ल्ड टेस्ट चैंपियनशिप फाइनल है क्रिकेट का. इंडिया आएगा फाइनल. टेस्ट का पहला वर्ल्ड कप. टेस्ट का वर्ल्ड कप है पहला.
सही है.
और इंडिया फाइनल में.
क्रिकेट में
Three ultimates on the side of
FNATIC
for a little bit of defense here to push them out. I wonder if Mystic decides to fire one off, or they're just going to see if the round becomes worth it.
किसको मारे? भाग गया.
They go into the firing squad of Sentinels here. That's pretty awesome. FNATIC just massively baited there for the prime gaming flawless for Sentinels.
FNATIC का मोरल डाउन होते हुए अभी वो लेंगे. वो क्या होता है वो? टैक्टिकल टाइम आउट. हाँ, स्ट्रेटेजिक टाइम आउट. वो कोच कहेगा आराम से खेलो भाई, स्प्लिट होके रहो. भाई उसमें देखा डोमा ने क्या मतलब फिनिक्स को पागल बनाया, फ्लैश कराई नहीं वो एसेंट में. भाई शॉट बे, शॉट हील भी हो गया. गजब बे. क्या लगता तुझे इंडिया से जाएगी ग्लोबल पीसीसी में? भाई इंडिया कितना टफ है बे. सेज है ही नहीं उनके पास.
सोच अगर आ गई ना इसकी वॉचिंग डबल.
स्प्लिट में सेज नहीं लिया तभी हार रही है. क्यों?
The wall goes up, they go back towards the A heaven position. 40 seconds to go. We'll get that cosmic divide there. That's definitely going to certainly convince FNATIC what's going on.
इसकी वॉचिंग ट्रिपल
is absolutely key. Trying to find a way to punish Shazam here.
Do they go back?
क्या खेलने में किधर से घूम के किधर जा रहे हैं कुछ पता ही नहीं लगा.
Domas here as well on A Heaven trying to hold on to this position. The trades come through. Euro Theft gets used as well to find out all of the remaining positions of FNATIC, and the spike is planted. So that really does put Sentinels in a really
आफ्टर प्लांट कैसे खेलेंगे देखते हैं।
all of these defenders are coming from on this retake.
वो हेवन से नीचे कूद गया।
The op makes it a little bit harder here. Okay, goes for the Phantom.
शाज़ाम रैम्स खेल रहा है।
Three strong with rifles to come back through. Blade Storm's there. Viper's Pit is not something they could really put to use in this, but remember, this was
शाज़ाम नीचे आ गया।
we have guns being picked up here.
मिस्टिक को देख।
Yeah, it's down to Mystic. Oh my goodness, Mystic's doing a good job.
ओह यार।
For the punish. And there's no time. That was a good effort though. Definitely got an extra. 5-1 for Sentinels. They're still storming ahead of this.
2v4 कहाँ?
Also another big round that the operator was there for the side of FNATIC. That goes down. That was saved up. Like I said, we usually Dirk on the Marshall. He did
Call नहीं दी क्या?
FNATIC wanted the operator, got a great kill with it at the beginning of the round. And then Sentinels, all right, well, if they have an op, we can play with the Cosmic Divide.
Best of 5 है।
Very close, very fast.
अबे पलट जाएगा डिफेंसिव मैप है। डिफेंसिव में ही तो हार रही है। लॉल। शॉट बे। क्या खेल रहा है बे? ये चक्कू इतनी एक्यूरेट तो लगती नहीं कभी।
Yeah, that's a fantastic start. You got that Blade Storm. Magnum is a Spectre. There's a couple of sheriffs in the mix. This is very dangerous now for Sentinels.
वे चक्कू इतने अच्छे हैं।
We want to start to think about how to regroup here, but we have a B main info play from FNATIC. So FNATIC are putting the pieces together as to where Sentinels surely should be. They may not expect that Sentinels are still playing very, very passively though. Moving back towards B. Oh, Magnum's going to exactly what's coming right now. Oh, yeah. Boaster with the Sheriff finds the spike, and now it's just 2 players remaining here for Sentinels. They are in so
स्काई भाई स्काई फ्लैश करके मारे क्या? हग दिया भाई हग दिया डोमा हगा। ये तो मेरी जैसे शेरिफ चलाई इसने।
The shots people are hitting, the solo one and dones and almost getting 2. Zombs picks ones up there, but it's Magnum again having a week for himself. Many have said it, they usually do not see this type of pressure.
इतना डर के क्यों खेल रहे भाई?
Magnum, and he is firing on all cylinders for FNATIC.
इतना डर के क्यों खेल रहे FNATIC में? वो कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं लग रहा अभी।
Picks up that round for the team with a 3K and a thrifty. Feels good.
Yeah, such an important round.
ना मतलब लग नहीं रहा। ये तो गजब ही शॉट था बे। बहुत गजब शॉट था ये। मुझे तो लगता कि मतलब वो कब क्रॉस किया पता नहीं चला ना उसको। ये स्प्लिट में आ गया क्या ये? उन लोग के में अलग से पैच है क्या? FNATIC ने लिया ना? FNATIC नहीं लिया होगा। सेंटिनल्स क्यों लेगी? जीत तो रही है। टेक्निकल पॉज है बे, स्ट्रेटेजिक टाइम आउट नहीं है ये। पिंग चला गया लगता है, सर्वर इशू। किसी ने तो वाईफाई रिचार्ज नहीं कराया। ये मेरा वाला माउस से खेल रहा है क्या? ना बे जी प्रो है। पता नहीं भाई।
The rest of Sentinels popped out of the woodwork, and that's when we saw them take that close left corner of Heaven back. So they're using the teamwork and potential of each other's peaks and looks over the shoulder so well when they are taking these sites that could just be somebody spamming 3 down. They're really being able to prevent that.
किसी ने तो कुछ तार वार निकाल दिए भाई। FNATIC का कोई दोस्त है। कोई है स्पॉट बॉय जो फिनेटिक को सपोर्ट कर रहा था, स्ट्रेटेजी बनाने के लिए कुछ गड़बड़ की उसने। कुछ करो भाई। ये कौन है? नाम से ही जानते, शक्ल से तो किसी को जानते ही नहीं। डर के डर के डर के खेल रहे।
Valorant is a game that is going to certainly have success and grow over the years, and this
कौन
is a magical
कौन
point of its time.
डायनमो कर रहा है क्या?
The first international event ever.
मेरा थीम चोरी कर लिया क्या?
For the end of Valorant history, until the end of time. You know, this is going to be etched into the tablets of Valorant history. So there's a lot of pressure on these players to perform for their regions, for themselves, for their teams, for the fans. And so yeah, that I'm just making this point because
सब्सक्राइबर हो तो सब पार्टनर मिलते हैं भाई।
individually, and that kind of pressure makes it harder for individuals to perform, and in some cases it makes it easier for the truly gifted competitors.
Yeah, I mean, all of them want to be here, but I think we heard
या फिर ये
Boaster say it at one point, and you know, Sentinels
एस्केरोसी
previously before at one point. There's nerves.
अपना टेंस, देसी टेंस। एक तो सोलो भी है बे, एक तो सोलो भी था। किस में था? X10 में था। क्रेजी रकून किस में? न्यूटन किस में था? कोई तो ऐसी इधर की टीम थी, कोई एशिया की टीम में ही था कोई तो सोलो। हाँ तो है तो एशिया में ही कोरिया।
falter a little bit on defense to Sentinels makes a bit of sense here, but once FNATIC gets onto attack, then we're definitely going
हम वो यूरोप ही तो है।
I think though we're going to see that aggression that FNATIC were used to, as I was talking before, the round adaptation where they quickly flip the switch depending on what's going on.
डायनमो को समझ ही नहीं आ रहा क्या कैसे खेलने हैं।
Durka tags, they get info, and then they'll finally hit something. But they're so good when an ult pops up. Something else happens, and calling an audible.
मुझे तो हंसी काइडे पे इस प्ले हंसी आती है। 100T का वो लोगो लगा के सेंटिनल गो, लेट्स गो सेंटिनल। वही टेंस को सपोर्ट कर दिया। 100T की है वो। डायनमो तो बस स्ट्रीम चालू करके बैठ गया। पैसे मिल रहे भाई।
तो आता भी पता है इसको relevant क्या होता है?
फिर भी 5000 वॉचिंग आ रही है भाई। हमारी स्ट्रीम पे आओ भाई, हम बताएंगे क्या हो रहा है। हाँ ना ना नहीं लगता भाई। मैंने उससे बात करी सीधे जेफ लैंडा से। प्रोडक्ट हेड है वे वैलोरेंट की। अभी है रुको।
ऐसे कहते कहते ना हर राउंड 2-0 जीत पे आ गई।
अभी टेक्निकल पॉज है, कुछ ज्यादा देर नहीं हो रहा टेक्निकल पॉज।
ऐसा रह गया .exe फाइल मिल गई क्या?
मतलब लैपटॉप गर्म हो गया इसका।
.exe फाइल मिल गई क्या किसी की? ये लग रहा 4 सेकंड लग रहा है। .exe फाइल है।
जेट खेल रहा है ये मजा, ये चिल लगता भाई। फुल मजे ले रहा हूँ ये।
हार रहे हैं बेचारा। क्या कह रहा सेकंड का तो प्राइस पूल मिल जाएगा। कितना है?
ब्रॉक्सन पॉगर आई एम प्रेडिक्टिंग सेंटिनल 3-1। भाई क्यों भाई, क्यों भाई? सारे सेंटिनल्स वाले ही हो क्या तुम? कोई तो आ जा फेनेटिक वाला। पता ना कितना प्राइस पूल कितना है? हाँ बेस्ट ऑफ 5 है, सारे मैप चलेंगे। प्राइस पूल 4 मिलियन।
space you've taken. You're like,
पागल है क्या?
giving me correct information now. And it almost nullifies the fact that you've taken that space unless
क्यों आप बात कर रहा बे?
and figured out that the entire situation is triaged.
VCT
What is actually going down. So
price
yeah, the
pool.
play, I think, is really affecting that forward space.
ओ भाई साहब $6 लाख
FNATIC is kind of reconsidering
प्राइस पूल
good to take or not.
विनर को कितने मिलेंगे वे?
Sentinels have been able to put them on the board a few times here, and
$2 लाख फर्स्ट प्लेस वाले को
I forgot it now since we've been in tech.
14 करोड़ 14 करोड़ रुपए
अरे 14 तो बहुत कम बोल रहे हैं 70 के हिसाब से I'm with you there. It's like I'm so like in the round by rounds that I'm not actually tuned into the scoring now, but
in rupees लिख देना in rupees लिख दे in rupees लिख दे
Oh, go ahead. Okay, I will. Talking about the compositions, I think it was
भाई 14.5 करोड़ रुपए भाई
FNATIC switch off. I think
$2 लाख मिलेंगे भाई
FNATIC would not go for the triple duelist composition.
300 के नहीं 200 के है
Challengers, you know, when they played it in the finals, I was like, this is wild.
वो सही लग रहा था FNATIC का
But they had played that before against Liquid and won, so it wasn't that wild.
सिक तो लग रहा बीमार
How much does FNATIC?
तो PMGC
जो
PUBG मोबाइल ग्लोबल चैंपियनशिप हुई थी उसका देखिए PMGC मोबाइल तो बाल उड़ गए भाई साइड से ब्लेड मार दी क्या PMGC मोबाइल का देखिए प्राइस इसके बाल दे ऐसा लगना बस एक ही साइड से उड़ गए बस PMGC का प्राइस पूल देखियो PMGC का प्राइस पूल कितना है देखियो ये सही लग रहा यही सही लग रहा PMGC का प्राइस पूल देखिए कितना था
And just as a quick update as well, for the reason with the delay right now is that we have a player that has encountered an issue with his mouse. So the match is anticipated to resume briefly, so stay with us. Here are the grand finals, the Masters 2.
वो PMGC का प्राइस पूल पता है कितना $12 लाख डबल इसका फर्स्ट प्लेस वाले को 7 लाख ओ भाई पबजी में जो जीता था ना फर्स्ट प्लेस आई थी उसका कितना मिला पता है $7 लाख 7 लाख पबजी मोबाइल पीसी नहीं मोबाइल PMGC जो हुआ था 7 लाख और ये इंडियन टीम्स को ने मिस कर दिया बैन की वजह से $7 लाख भाई $7 लाख हाईएस्ट प्राइस पूल है शायद ये अब तक का
is huge because it means that TENS can show a lot of presence without really having to really necessarily be there, and that exchange I think is strategically, you know, really plays into what we were discussing in terms of Sentinel's approach on the
तो राइट के सारे म्यूजिक अच्छे हैं वे
and to get a better exchange out of that utility.
Yeah, for Raze as well, it just seems like she has such good flight paths. You know, the trajectory she can hit, the places she can get, the elevation she can start on. Split is just a playground for her, so it seems pretty cool. Still waiting on for these players to get ready and back in. Looking at what I was saying earlier about how FNATIC
Riot की वेबसाइट पे
adaptation's really good. I don't want to keep hanging on that because it's really easy to say things.
कौन सा ओवरले किस चीज का ओवरले इससे क्या होगा हाँ मिल लिया क्या ओवरले है ये तो नॉर्मल ओवरले हैं पे राइट की साइड पे
5 करोड़ था क्या? And Mystic just stays back. 5 करोड़. So they literally just they probably Indian team miss कर दिया ban की वजह से. Quick thought, instant hits. They did it again on that icebox match to the other side of the map.
हाँ देखा मैंने.
Picked up 3 all points quick, but the spike was dropped to him immediately after Doma went down. To get the spike, they're very quick on their feet with those decisions that I think on a
हाँ यही वाला देखा.
Of most teams here at the tournament.
And I love that you're kind of bringing FNATIC to light a little bit here because, you know, whilst we have our crew, you know, resolving the issues on the ground, let's get to know FNATIC a little bit more.
किसी ने तो तार काटे भाई.
Let's just say we weren't expecting it. If you consider our performance at Masters 1, we somehow made this kind of miracle run all the way to Iceland, and now here we are.
मैं तो कह रहा हूँ भाई टूर्नामेंट रजिस्टर करो भाई कल से. VCC चलते हैं.
We were expected to like do pretty well, and yet we fell short again. We decided to make the roster change 3 days before the next qualifier. So we didn't have long to practice with the two new teammates. However, we just kept beating and winning. Hopefully we're going to take the trophy here as well. We're bringing something new, something that people haven't seen before, so we'd like to keep it on lockdown, and like when we come into these games, we'd like to throw out the cheese, throw out the surprise.
पर न्यूटर ने तो टक्कर दी भाई, मुझे एक्सपेक्टेड नहीं था.
Try and catch them with their pants down, essentially. Magnum and Deka. You got
वो सेकंड मैच जीती भी तो.
He's the star quality that took us to the next level. We got Magnum as well, so he's consistent, like
एवरेज जिग्नेश वाला डार्ट था क्या वो?
He's funny, he's charming, he's a great teammate. What I like about playing competitively is the adrenaline, the camaraderie, and just.
अब तो एवरेज जोनास फुल सूट बूट में कास्टिंग करता है. भाई बंदों की लाइफ चेंज हो गई एकदम से. वो है फ्लेक्स निंजा हुआ, और ये अपना जिग्नेश हुआ, फ्लाइट्स हुआ, और वो कौन है जेट का ईथोस ग्रिम हुआ. ये कितने और ज़्यादातर एने के ईथोस एने का, फ्लेक्सिंजा एने का, ग्रिम भी एने का ही है ना शायद, गवर्नर भी एने का ही है. प्लू भी तो एने. भाई उसका माउस पैड मस्त लगता है भाई प्लू का. मैं तो माउस पैड क्या बताया? प्लू की चैट में क्या स्पैम होता है? अच्छा जिग्नेश. हाँ उसके में यही चलता है. उसने थंबनेल भी ऐसे ही बनाए थे ना स्टार्टिंग में. गेम मस्त है भाई. मुझे लगता है किसी और की आईडी से होती है. हाँ क्या कर रहा है ये? हम तो कह रहा कि एक बार और रेंज मार लूं. टेंस का पहला लैन है अभी. ये नया आया है क्या टेंस मार्केट में? बस ऑनलाइन क्वालिफायर ही ट्राई करता रहा क्या? हाँ एनए में कितनी टीम है बे? एनए में बहुत ज़्यादा टीम है. सारे ही प्लेयर्स अच्छे हैं. TSM 100T Cloud9. अबे एक टीम अच्छी होती है लेकिन एनए में तो 10-12 टीम अच्छी निकल आएंगी. सेंटिनल्स का नाम मैंने सबसे पहले बूगा की वजह से सुना.
Who's gonna be better at that? It's so amazing. I love it. And then you have Shazam and Boaster with that underlying IG.
क्या?
goes from duelist to support. Of course he loses. Come on. Can't just duelist.
हाँ यही देख तू भाई श्राउड की वाचिंग 219K भाई उस दिन तो 290 चला गया था उस दिन और वैलो पे आ रहे 130K श्राउड के आ रहे हैं 270 अभी तो टेक्निकल पॉज है ना इसलिए कम है आज तो 300K ऊपर जाएगा अगर पूरा 5 मैप चले ना एंड में बहुत ज़्यादा जाएगा इसका इंटेंस में ही जाएगा पोकी मारने का देख रहा एवरेज जिग्नेश भी कर रहा है हाँ है कौन मैंने तो सब्सक्राइब तो मार रखा उबे अभी भी आ रहे हैं बे एक्सक्यूसी के ये तो किसी कौन है ये इसको जानता है वॉचिंग देख इसकी 121K XQC OW ये वैसे होंगे टोटल गेमिंग टाइप लिमिट
I think one of the things we also have to look at for Sentinels here, we're going to be tossing AD, but maybe just thought they can carry unless they have their own.
Shiv FPS
upper bracket has allowed them to go through without showing split or a
पहले मैं से इंडियन समझता था लेकिन ये तो फुल यूरोपियन निकला शिव FPS को जानता है सर्च कर एपेक्स खेलता है इसी XQC के ऑर्ग में है फाइनल्स में टेक्निकल पॉज हुई वही इतने में तो बंदे कस्टम छोड़ के चले जाते हैं ये तो फाइनल से कहाँ पे देखता हूँ
Yeah, what actually I love about it for FNATIC is, yes, they've been studying Sentinels. They want to try to figure out a way how to get anti-strat Sentinels at the beginning. And pulling out the Sky and a Viper, I think is already very good. Looking at this map.
कोई लिख रहा टेंस के पास टेंस हैज मैनी माउस कोई लिख रहा नीचे उसके
So already for FNATIC at that point, they already want to set the pace. They want to set the tone. So I love the fact that it looked a little bit jittery when they were shooting, but overall, in terms of how they're prepared,
क्या चैट जा रही है श्राउड की
really good. Because when you're thinking about Sentinels, for example, Dapper is always going to be the one that's going to lure towards the A side. So to be able to have like more bodies here towards the A side, play a little bit more close on that choke at the A orb as well, is good ways to just try to get him out.
नया खरीद के लेके आया क्या
But I feel that Sentinels at the same time has a different plan too, because a couple of these rounds, when you're putting these bodies for FNATIC on the A side, well, Dapper is working towards middle. Dapper is actually working towards B side, even though his kit's towards A. So the conditioning from Sentinels off the get-go, just from past footage of how they play the game, was a great start for them to get.
एक मैच में तो सेंसी बिना सेंसी अलग ही सेंसी से खेल रहा था बाद में कह रहा सेंसी चेंज है भाई ठीक करता हूँ
And there has been this discussion regarding split. It's like, well, you know, they're not really supposed to
बीच की काटता है क्या मांग
because of X, Y, and Z reasons. But it does feel like FNATIC, you know, as they should, have entered this grand final with the mindset of, no, we have
जल्दी शुरू करो भाई
we know that there's a plan that we want.
ये कास्टर का काम सही है इनको कहना हमारा काम शुरू हो गया हमें बकवास करनी है वो आ जाओ कुछ भी बोल रहे हैं हाँ भाई
Yeah, they definitely are. I think it's one of the things we expect from FNATIC, though. They innovate a lot.
विदेशी ओशन शर्मा
It's a 5-map pool. Realistically, you should always be able to add depth in.
Yeah, that's right. Well, folks, I did get word that we
1050 Ti.
into the game, so let's send it over to Rivington and DDK to walk us through the action.
एक तो श्राउड की चैट इतनी तेज चल रही है, पढ़ा भी नहीं जा रहा.
Again, 5-2 is the score.
We're close.
You're just joining us. This is the grand finals of Masters 2 Reykjavík. Europe versus North America, or North America versus Europe. I guess we'll find out soon who is going to be first on the pecking order there as we get to the conclusion of this one. But Riv, we're back into it. Wants to get
इसके बाद कोई ले ले स्ट्रेटेजिक टाइम आउट. टेक्निकल पॉज खत्म होते ही सीधे शुरू कर दिया, बताया भी नहीं कि शुरू होने वाला.
That's an interesting choice. You know, what do you do against this Viper's Pit if you're Sentinels right now? That's the
बूम. हैं? ये तो उल्टा हो गया.
Oh my goodness, Durko's just pulling
ये तो उल्टा हो गया बे. ये वाली अच्छा इसके पास आयन ऑफ थी तभी जीता है. वही तो ये लो राउंड खत्म हो गया भाई. सेंटिनल जीत गई. स्टार आगे कर. 2 घंटे बाद कह रहा वो नाइस शॉट. कोई जा ही नहीं रहा. मैं भी तो कहता हूँ बी छोड़ दे, हेवन आ जा. कोई आता ही नहीं मेरे पास. ओ बच गया. हैं? देखा नहीं क्या उसने साइफर को? इसने तो देखा था जो सैचल मार रहा था. कौन था रेस? ये टेंस ने देखा था छोड़ के भाग गया. बड़ा बदतमीज है भाई. पेंजर फ्रॉस्ट और भाई कैसा मस्त भाई पेंजर भाई. तुम किसे सपोर्ट कर रहे हो पेंजर भाई? है?
किसको सपोर्ट कर रहे हो और वो ये पूछ रहे भाई मैच किसका चल रहा है. पहले टीम बताओ तब बताऊंगा.
नहीं आ रहा, नहीं आ रहा. ना ना ठीक है. ठीक है भाई. ये कौन सा रेजोल्यूशन है भाई? ये कौन कर रहा है स्ट्रेच करके पूरा? कुछ है एडवांटेज ऐसे स्ट्रेच करके?
घुस गए क्या तो स्क्रीन पे?
आगे कर रखी है पूरी.
तो कैसे है?
वो बहुत छोटा दिखता है बे. पूरा जूम करके रखना पड़ता है पूरा. ये छोड़ दिया पूरा. ये रीटेक देखना कैसे लेंगे. मेरी वॉल है, ये मेरी वॉल है. मैं ऐसी तो करता हूँ. ये लिक्विड से सीखा क्या इन्होंने? ओ शॉट भाई. रन एंड गन करो भाई. शेरिफ है. हाँ भाई. बे यार.
Great retake from them to bring it to 4 against Sentinels 5.
FNATIC's retakes here are so much stronger we're seeing this time around. I'm recalling Haven where they were having a bit of trouble continuously getting into each site, then holding. The post plants are just really theirs this time. 4-5 and they
होगा भाई कमबैक होगा. लेट्स गो FNATIC. FNATIC का वो क्या है? FNATIC की लाइन क्या है? जैसे लिक्विड की लेट्स गो लिक्विड, FNATIC की क्या है? लेट्स गो FNATIC. FNATIC तो चाइनीज ऑर्ग है ना? FNATIC चाइनीज ऑर्ग है बे.
Now the question is,
Hmm.
what's the response from Fnatic? You can't really take
Ball.
loss that early on, lying down. But I mean, Tens is going to force the issue. Goes through, actually kills himself with a showstopper as well as the Doma. And now it's a 3v3. Magnum's holding on to B Heaven. Sentinels might want to try to reset the situation here, especially after that neural theft. We might see Sentinels slow this one down, but Shazam's still pressing, and he will find the kill.
The double neural theft. The one actually played off of the blips there. You can see how it became the upper hand for Dapper. And now Durka looking to save this operator. There should be decent money still for Fnatic, depending on how much they win in on econ and utility from round to round if they had to rebuy. It could just be a sheriff round for them again. But it is going to bring us up to round 11 after this one.
ये सही है, सामने वाले पे ऑफ है तो easy round.
We got round for round. And this is what happened last time, Dan, is in Icebox and Haven when we got these maps between these two teams. Or sorry, the previous maps. It was round for round 13, 11, and 13.
दोनों देख रहे हैं ये परेशान भाई कोई नहीं है भाई.
A very similar series here.
व्हाट्सएप पे बताओ भाई इसको कोई.
This is a great matchup, and
अभी जा रहा पिक लेने जा रहा है क्या? नहीं जाएगा.
like a pretty good start for both teams at the moment. Again, just recognizing that this should on paper be a
ये व्यू ठीक है. यहाँ से दिखाओ बे कौन किधर जा रहा.
you know, and the series is going to be close, even with that happening. And we get a quick, we see that opening.
वो
That's how he's able to
हैं?
pick onto Mystic.
और वो कूदते कूदते कहाँ जा रहा था?
And look how quickly
हैं? क्यों?
after that pick, they definitely didn't want any time for Fnatic to regroup there.
Always this A wall.
वो कह रहा होगा मैं इधर जा रहा हूँ छुप रहा हूँ कवर दे दो. वो कह रहा नहीं नहीं मैं नहीं दूंगा तो वो फिर भाग के गया. बड़ा गंदा है. वॉल देख ले भाई वाइपर की कैसे बना रहे हैं. ऐसी बनाई हो. मिड खुला छोड़ दिया. एक ट्रैप डाल दिया. एक ट्रैप डाल रखा बस. एक ट्रैप उधर एक ट्रैप इधर. इजी रैंप खेल रहा. चिड़िया डाली. ये इनका खुद का स्मोक है उनका स्मोक है. है तो
adaptation from Fnatic, a mix-up, and Sentinels might not be ready for this.
I mean, it allows them to info deny more. And this is what we talked about before, as we said, this is where Fnatic wanted to grab space. Well, now they can allow the space they don't have.
कहाँ बी में नौ पर है. अच्छा
Feel like they aren't getting a return on the information they're
मिस.
So now it is up to
Dep.
Sentinels to make the next move. This is where Sentinels would be getting information in the previous rounds.
कैमरामैन कैमरा लगा भाई.
They do get a wall, so they're stopped in their tracks.
देख रहा हूँ पोजीशन ही देख रहा हूँ. मैप पे नजर है.
So you will get a reaction there from Fnatic to start.
टेंस कह रहा मैं मारूंगा मैं मारूंगा. ओह
They go through to B main now after that long delay. Sentinels trying to remove Fnatic from position, but all they have is position right now. Boaster drops down into Dapper.
डैपर 1v2 इजी Fnatic का राउंड. कम बैक हो गया.
Up here, up the rope. I mean, he might have just enough time here, but they are going to spring on top of it.
At the peak shoot.
Dapper find a way to make this one work. Magnum
खत्म.
put him out of his misery. And Fnatic will clinch the round. Beautiful hold from them. Didn't bite that long delay from Sentinels.
Yep. Really great. And Boaster here. I feel like Roaster. This guy just roasting everybody that comes around. Vibing at that spot. Down to one.
घुस के खुद ही मार ले. आंखों से मार दे उसे. भाई मॉनिटर चिपका दिया भाई मुंह पे.
That's the lineup. Except Mystic was
Cross.
you peak. Magnum, you have a judge. Go do that. That's fine. They play it that
हमारी तरह ही को कर रहे हैं तो. ऐसी तो करते हैं. सिद्धू बाय कर लेता है. हाफ बाय हाफ बाय. मैं ले रहा हूँ मैं बाय कर रहा हूँ. तू नहीं कर रहा क्या? इतने में तो टाइम खत्म. अब तो हो गया. दोनों एक्स्ट्रा ने अल्ट कर दी. ना इधर का कुछ दिखा ना इधर का कुछ. ये भी ठीक है भाई. टेंस के पास गन है तो ज़्यादा एडवांटेज है। डैपर के पास और सिक को नहीं दी। वो कह रहा होगा डुअलिस्ट में हूँ, मुझे बाय कर। खत्म।
45 seconds left in this round means A is most likely going to be the full commit here. And FNATIC is absolutely
इनका ऊपर वो है डर के इनका शज़ाम डर के ओ miss भाई
And Six also able to get rid of Mystic from A Heaven, so this is a good effort right now from Sentinels. They're pulling ahead in this one. FNATIC are struggling. It's down to Boaster, and he is not going to be able to deny the plant.
कॉल दो भाई, प्लांट हो रहा है, रोटेट नहीं किया इसने भाई।
Sentinels not with the greatest economy going.
कॉल नहीं दिया क्या इसको किसी ने? प्लांट हो रहा
in this 1v3 needs to get
दो एल्बो
on top of every single shot.
एक हेवन।
And Sentinels are disciplined and methodical.
हेवन प्लांट है क्या? खत्म। हो जाएगा कमबैक। 7-5 है। ये अच्छा मारा हुआ है सेकंड है। इतनी दूर 145 नहीं पड़ता। अच्छा, ये ट्रेन कब आई है? हमारे में तो नहीं है ये। GTA बनने वाला है क्या ये कुछ दिन में? ट्रेन व्रेन रेस्टोरेंट सब खोल रखा।
War going up immediately there. Does take a while to deal with those.
मिड वॉल तोड़ो भाई। क्या?
Sick just slumming things down, and this is a win for FNATIC early on. Sick burning all of this Sage util.
अच्छा इसका नाम वो है डर के
वो स्किन लेने गया था। लेट हो गया। उठा लिया फिर उठा लिया उठा के फेंका फिर। हो जाता भाई, फाइनल से पहली बार खेल रहे। वो तो कंफ्यूज है भाई। शज़ाम कंफ्यूज है, इधर देखूं कि उधर देखूं। अब सही दे। वो देख रहा, देख किधर है। उनका कोच ना, कोच उनका जो कोच है फेनेटिक का, वो श्राउड की स्ट्रीम देख रहा। वो सिक दो लेगा भाई। रीलोड कर ले भाई। PUBG मोबाइल हो।
FNATIC can't find the finish they were looking for, and this is what we talked about earlier, Rip, too. You know, Sentinels are so good at playing passively.
ये तो सिद्धू की तरह रीलोड कर रहा था।
ये तो भी ठीक बैठा है।
इनकी क्लासिक कैसे चल जाती है भाई ऐसे? हमारी तो अलग ही लगती है। इतनी परफेक्ट जाती है क्या क्लासिक? बस्ट और इतनी जल्दी तो क्लिक भी नहीं होता हमारा माउस का बटन, जितनी जल्दी उसने चला दी 2 बार। हाँ, स्लो और फेंक के फिर कूदता जाता है। क्यों भाई क्यों? कूदता वो इन्फो भी निकालता है कितने हैं। रोटेट हो रहा है कैमरामैन कैमरा देखते हुए। कैमरा कहाँ लगा क्या आया ये? कैमरा किधर लगाया इसने? तो
Zombs their elbow. Actually in a somewhat scary position. Tens will come through to lend him a hand though. And looks like it'll be cleaned up quite effectively here. 2 players lost.
अंडर है ना अंडर
Oh, great job. A third frag found from Boaster.
खत्म है ये
Classic. But we'll take him down. But 3 kills, I think, that's more than you could have expected.
स्पेक्टर शेरिफ दोनों उठा ली 1600-800 रुपए
Side of Sentinels, especially the way they like to play, trying to get Shazam and off.
एक एक दे देगा सब ये गार्डन चेंज नहीं किया गया नए पैच में यहाँ भी लगा देते कुछ
Maybe they'll answer back to back here. So he goes for the judge, which
वॉल है ना
he may have an op in the near future with going light buyish now to keep this for a few rounds if they can.
फास्ट रश है क्या वो ये अच्छा था बे सक करके बीच में मारना इजी कहाँ दुपक रहा जगह है क्या उधर मुंह पे छोड़ दिया साइपर के बॉट 2v1 easy स्पाइक भी है 3v1 कहाँ है 2v1 है भाई कहाँ चल रहा है आगे कर भाई
He's spiced up a few rounds, honestly. If we remember his icebox round, the pistol he clutched with the double pistol and then defuse.
Shroud Valorant का देख रहा है ये Shroud का देख रहा है
on the team like Durka or Doma or Magnum kind of flying around. But the Quiet Viper, the info grabber here, Phantom in hand, definitely able to make this play as Mystic loves these kind of intense situations.
30 seconds left.
Yeah, using the orb to suggest that he's actually using the orb as a fake. And so Sentinels not buying it. It's very smart from Mystic here. And now possibly got to have the right timing, but Zom's
timing भाई timing
I think Mystic played that extremely
क्यों
well.
भाई क्यों
It will be the 10th round on the board here.
स्टार्टिंग में तो सही किया
3 away from taking map 1.
वो तो आएगा ही सक करके बीच में मारा
Finals against FNATIC.
This was one of the ones, as we said before, as we kind of just
अबे
recap
यार
maps out of Challengers 2 all the way
टाइम नहीं है
through,
टाइम
but
नहीं
it
है
was played 10
बाद में
times by Sentinels.
डर के खेल रहा है वो
A great win
डर
rate
के
on that, and only 3 times by FNATIC. So teams have practiced it and they've got themselves rounded. It's much different in the stage game, and
दो
you're
हैं बे
seeing the
अच्छा
comfortability
हाँ
of those 10 plays, of the consistent
कि टोटल 4 किल है क्या अब तक
that Sentinels was able to get here. Going through 10 to 5 now, as you said, Dan, and we're going to see another A strat coming now out of FNATIC.
Yeah, very fast push there up a ramp, pressuring A
भाग गया शज़ाम
taking that away from Sentinels. Boaster actually
ये अब ज़्यादा ही बीच में आ गया
They have side control. Oh, Shazam sprays through the poison orb. That's going to slow down the spike plant. Sentinels being held at bay by this poison orb just for the moment. Just enough time to get that planted. Not really any post plant position.
4v4 है
FNATIC. It's going to be a hard hold, but that's a good start there from Magnum indeed.
बचाओ भाई
Nice Viper's pit. What do they have? Can they throw a cam in there? If it's up, cam's not up for him, so we won't be able to use it just yet. It's kind of have to be the run and gun. Tens does have 2 blast packs and the judge if he wants to fly in. They find the right corner. The high walls of Valorant allow you to just kind of draw your cursor down the wall, find the angles, and that's exactly how they find that kill in the Viper's pit. Now into the site.
Nice start by Doma though.
Oh, Doma भाई
Sheriff, and now suddenly Dapper's without any time here. There's no time for him to actually do this one anymore, and they're just trying to get out of there. Dapper's
पकड़ Dapper मर गया
actually denies Dapper. Will go down, but he got the kill on Dapper, and that's FNATIC with the 6th round.
एक को निकाला है मिस्टेक ने पिछली बार हक दिया था इस बार निकाल दिया वो फ्रेंजी से मर गया ये वैंडल वर्सेस फ्रेंजी होता वैंडल थिंग्स 11 एचपी पे मारा भाई हाँ हाँ
That was absolutely huge for FNATIC.
And that kill from Bosa with the frenzy. How does he outperform? I think
कमबैक हो सकता है भाई.
even a Spectre at that range with the frenzy. Unbelievable there.
क्यों भाई? थोड़ा तो मोटिवेट करो भाई.
And look what it's done to Sentinels. They're down to pistols here.
Sentinels का इको है. हो जाएगा.
And a frenzy. So we'll have to see if they
10-7.
thrifty this one. Shazam does have the blade storm.
अल्ट पे क्या मार लेगा? 2 तो खत्म.
Still looking for the kill.
2 खत्म.
You'd want to see Shazam do what Durka did in the first half.
2 चक्कू खत्म.
Find that aggressive pick, dash away.
एक किल मारती वापस आ जाएगा ना. एक ही चक्कू. जी जिगल पीक करके चक्कू खत्म कर दिए इसके. रीलोड कर भाई शज़ाम.
Boaster says push me. They're ready. So Boaster's saying, okay, we're playing with Shazam in mid. Everybody rotate deep back spawn all the way through where Magnum has been grabbing a bit of info. No push, no nothing. Might have heard those stars go down.
ये आ गए. यहाँ पे खेल रही है ज़ॉम्ब. हेवन पे कोई नहीं है. फ्रेंजी. ओ भाई फ्रेंजी से कैसे मार रहा है ये? एक चक्कू लेके भाग रहा हो. भाई ओ यहाँ से भी मारते हैं क्या? हैं?
This is where all those days of watching Shazam in the range doing jumping 360 headshots with knights come into play right here.
एक चक्कू लग जा भाई. एक चक्कू. भाई वो भाई ये आएगा. ये हाइलाइट्स में आएगा. ओ ये भाई स्टार. हेलो राउंड खत्म. कहाँ है भाई? भाई शज़ाम भाई एक चक्कू था उस पे. एक चक्कू. हम हाँ वे निकाल लिया वे उसने. भाई यार एक चक्कू पे गेम निकाल दिया भाई. एक चक्कू पे भाई. भाई गॉड भाई. मैं तो वैसे एक चक्कू मार देता कि अब एक ही बचा. क्या ही करूँगा इसका. हार तो गए लेकिन शज़ाम ने जो 3 किल निकाली भाई वो गॉड लेवल भाई. ना एक किल के बाद रिन्यू होते हैं. हाँ एक चक्कू ही बचा था. अगर किल नहीं लेता था खत्म.
No mid presence really at all here for FNATIC. Sorry, for Sentinels, I should say. Right.
कितने बिठा रखे हैं इन्होंने स्पेक्टेटर? सारे बिठा दिए लगता है. मुझे तो लग रहा है और हर एक पीसी का कैप्चर कार्ड लगा के रिकॉर्ड भी कर रहे हैं सबको. एलगाटो 4K 60.
You get a lot of info, a little audio cues, footsteps, people leaving A heaven. It means a lot more. You don't always have to be shooting people. Your positioning on a map can just deliver you so much information. Now you also have Dapper in that situation event, and they're waiting to get this play. If Shazam gets himself pinged out and found out. He's going to be opping on that defensive side with the operator, though. Said he might shy away from it, but nope.
Oh my god. That's delaying so much. Those smokes, you can't really push those smokes. And they're going to have to go towards A here to try to sell this as a fake to at least try to make the entrance to be easier. And it might actually be the case here because FNATIC are going to get themselves across, but maybe Sick can deny the plant. There's no time here. There's no time. They've got to try to plant this one. The trade does come through.
Oh, they're going to get it.
Deny Sick. And indeed, with half a second remaining, they pick it up. And now Sentinels have to retake, but they do have this upper position.
हो गया भाई. डिफ्यूज भी हो गया प्लांट. हेलो स्टार आगे कर.
If he times it correctly. Can't be too quick, can't be too slow.
Oh, Boaster.
It's a delicate dance.
देखा भाई.
Absolutely nails Shazam. One more player to go, and he can just try to pressure here, and then comes his team.
भाई निकाल लिया भाई. ठीक है भाई.
That leaves it on Dapper. Dapper is not looking good.
तू डिफ्यूज पे बैठ जा भाई.
And Doma finishes him off. Fantastic defense there of that spike.
Nice, nice. Nice. मैं FNATIC को सपोर्ट कर रहा हूँ ना.
Holy FNATIC, literally in between Sentinels in their own defense.
लेकिन उसने देखा शज़ाम ने पीछे मुड़ के सुन ली क्या उसने AKS की कॉल सुनी.
Perfectly by FNATIC to just be waltzing around Sentinels defense and they're still wondering what's going on. Like, that is FNATIC turned on. The momentum is there. Let's see what they got here coming into round 19.
Yeah, we talked about how losing that round for FNATIC would break their economy. Well, the
गला सूख गया बे. कास्टिंग कैसे करते हैं ये लोग? हाँ भाई टफ है बे कास्टिंग. मुझे तो पता ही नहीं चलता कौन किधर जा रहा है. शज़ाम अटैक कर रहा है कि डिफेंस कर रहा. नहीं से एक शॉट मारते ही भाग जाता है. स्पाइक तो बीच में ही छोड़ दिया. ए हो रहा है. ए हो रहा है. हाँ ये कैसे चल रहे हैं.
Again, Viper wall off-site for what they want to do. Activating the smoke over on B currently. That's what Boaster just did. Activated the Heaven smoke as well as they hit A with all those Astra Stars, and now Shazam's going to start him off.
That's a good start as well for Zoms, actually, as he's holding backside still. That's a spike down as well, so the true intentions cannot be questioned as the evidence is there. Magnum trying to wrap his way around. Dapper just causing problems. Magnum still takes down Sick. Does not care about Dapper's cam shenanigans. And it's all up to Dapper. And he does not have the tool for the job. Boaster nails him.
Nice,
That's
nice.
For FNATIC. Great anti-save there. And that's 9 to 10. This is getting scary now for Sentinels.
Absolutely, and this is what we said before. Boaster said it. I repeated what he said. We are a momentum-based team.
ये shot.
Actually, look at it off the play we just watched. They run around the backside. They
इसको तो झटका लगा भाई. देखा? उछल गया भाई कीबोर्ड छोड़ के.
FNATIC knew exactly where the rest of the rebuttal would be from Sentinels, that they could run through the defense, and that momentum is giving them the agency to continue to control these rounds. Isn't shut down though, is Shazam with one shot there. Durga comes in, takes down Tens. Is it another? Yes.
डर के तो सही खेल रहा भाई. दोनों मरे. टेंस को किल नहीं मिल रहे.
Have to get the plant first though, and Sick is going to try to drop in as Dapper also gets that angle, but it will just be Dapper left standing there now. As Zoms replaces Sick's position perhaps up on this high ground. But again, there's so many FNATIC players here. Spike now just being planted. Dome is going to hear everything. Oh, the cam tag comes through, and Zoms will get traded out. FNATIC! It seems like they're doing it right here on Split right now, Riv. 10 to 10, they tie up the score.
Absolutely. The rounds coming in on the attack side. They're hitting Sentinels with the 2,900 buy loss credits right now. So Sentinels are kind of stringing buys together. They can't really capitalize on any cash other than 200 credits they're putting in their pockets like Zoms did right there. And it's going to be tough. This is when FNATIC knows this one Boaster knows he can start stretching you even more thin, or even thinner, I should say, in this situation. When they can start pulling agency to one side, Sentinels is going to react a little harder, bite a little more, and Boaster and the squad are being able to use that rotation perfectly. Seekers are out for this one as they're guaranteeing themselves little bits of advantage.
Yeah, such quick space you can gain with the Seekers going in front of you there, and FNATIC once again running the same play here. Durka charging his way forward. Not too much here for Sentinels to defend this one, as they are now stuck outside of the sites. They've been locked out. And FNATIC holds the key. Spike now free to be planted. Shazam's been spotted on the flank. Magnus will be very cautious. He doesn't go down here. and give up that Phantom. It's almost better to stay alive and just keep Shazam on that frenzy than risk the engagement. Oh, wow. A little alcove there. The Doma. At Viper's Pit, too. They are trying to lock this in.
And remember what I said about Icebox, is that they will use Cosmic Divide and Viper's Wall almost simultaneously. That with lockdown things, they love to do it. On Haven, they'll do it as they run up to the site and just slam it down. Cosmic Divide goes up, Viper's Pit just grows through it, and you're like, oh, by the way, we have 2 things to get through. So the Cosmic Divide into Viper's Pit is a tried and true Fnatic love there, and they successfully grab another round with that strategy.
And now Fnatic are in the lead.
Yep.
And we are coming toward the final rounds, the final moments of map 1 in this
row now.
best of 5.
Doesn't seem like Sentinels can stop it. Their defense is just falling apart each time. The ground, so it's
2 round है बस निकाल लो भाई Fnatic.
In a game where Sentinels wants to try and info deny, the ground they're giving up means Fnatic is on the front doorstep when they're starting the attack.
ये हारी तो eco आ जाएगा ना सेंटी का.
Just yet. Fnatic saying thank you so much, we'll take the room. Here again anchoring towards A with the spike for Fnatic. And we'll see if they can get some info here. It is a bit of a stack towards A, so we'll see if this plays in Sentinel's favor.
Yeah, you get Sentinels trying to mind game Fnatic here, just as you say. Sentinels gets that kill in mid, but there's been so much success with fast mid B splits. Sentinels are like,
Sick का भी ult है, Dapper का भी ult है.
Very well equipped to hold this push as it comes through. They'll give up Ram, but still lots of position. Oh, a tiny gap for TenZ. Whoa! Find that frag onto Magnum, and now there's 2 more. And Fnatic are in a very, very difficult position. They have to figure out, okay, we can't fully commit to the A site. They're going to try
अपने player को ही मार दे.
And it has to be because Viper couldn't be with them. Mystic couldn't, with the spike, be with them. So they have to sell this one by getting kills.
Sick and Dapper have not moved. Sights are being anchored on both sides now. Fnatic is pinched.
Oh my god.
Oh, ये important था. Shazam को ले लिया. क्या ult मारी भाई ये? Zomb मारे. भाई Zomb ले गया भाई.
I don't know if he's gonna have much time here. There's the peak, there's the delay. It's gonna be impossible. Thanks to
अबे यार.
Sentinels tie up the score 11.
यही round तो निकालना था बे.
I haven't seen much from Zombs this game, but you know when he's tucked into the back of a site, he's good for 2, he's good for 3 there, picks up some big frags. I don't even understand how you see this TenZ. Picks up a kill there, and great job by Zombs at the back of the site to make Doma work for it. That was a much needed round. That was 6 in a row until Sentinels was able to stop the bleeding right there. They bring it back into their favor.
2 pick मिल जाते वहाँ पे.
Fnatic is there to the end of the game. It does not matter.
And Shazam's in this mid peak, this rose peak, but denied by the Astra smoke.
इसे क्या चुपचाप गेंद बंद करके सो जा.
From Fnatic in this default. After a bunch of fast paces, medium paces, they're just showing absolutely nothing. Oh, Shazam though will peak at the right time, but doesn't land a shot. And Fnatic now have that delayed mail control.
They're doing a bit of a rotation game. Yeah, TenZ wants to get out. They just shot for Shazam there to pull towards TenZ because they don't think the operator's going to come out of vents. What a play by Sentinels. It is Fnatic in the site already, but here comes TenZ.
Oh, they don't have any idea about TenZ's position. He's going to take down Durka, the trace through from Magnum, but it's up to Shazam. Backside! There's the updraft, pushes forwards. Shazam can't make it work off the second right click. It's up to Dapper and Zombs to hold this one off.
Beautiful shot.
It is, and that leaves Zombs. Zombs' position to spray! It's not good. Mystic locks it in for Fnatic.
Oh भाई कैसे निकला भाई ये round.
Could be in on an upset in this first map. Again, I can't really emphasize it enough. This is a map that on paper you would expect Fnatic not to be winning, and it didn't look like they would at the beginning of this. In the first half, it was all Sentinels, but right at the end, it's looking like Fnatic are ready to close this one down.
I'm really glad you brought that up because this will basically flop what the map choices look like. This was supposed to be an almost surefire map for Sentinels. With the way they came in, how many times it
That boot camp for
उसके
FNATIC.
पास पैसे है नहीं हेलो नहीं है
Paying off. Competition practice or
नहीं
not,
है
they're able to keep stringing together these wins here
No.
and figure out what needs to be done to win the rounds no matter
Zero.
what. I think that's one of the things that makes
इससे
us so
नहीं हो रहा
excited
पता
across
हो
the
गया
board to watch these
इसको
teams
देख
is
डर
the
के को देख
minds behind the teams
मेरे
always
से
making it work in the
होशियारी मार
toughest
रहा
of situations. Here we have
है
round
दिया
24,
दिया
possible game
दिया
point
डर
for
के ने
FNATIC.
दिया
As no real ground has been gained just yet, and Sentinels still have
ये राउंड
Spike down.
ओटी प्लीज ओटी
Durka has
Nice
fallen.
one.
टेंस
Yeah, Dirk has been having a rough game of
टेंस
split
इजी
so
वनडिक
far.
ब्रो इतने
Yeah.
रैंक
That's
पे
okay because
वनडिक
his
मारे
teammates
इधर
have
मार
suddenly
दे
been
एक दो
doing a really great job.
कुछ नीचे
Such a great
लेफ्ट
team
मत
effort here
देख
from
इधर दे
FNATIC
आ
as they
राइट नहीं
have
नहीं लेफ्ट
mid
नहीं देखना
control
राइट
for
देखना
now, but
बस
Tens is peaked.
लेफ्ट कोई नहीं आ रहा
Could mean a
टेंशन
lot.
हाँ
We know
ले
what he
पीक
can
ले
do with the
हल्का हल्का
Sheriff.
ले
And
मार
straight
नाइस
into
शॉट
his
सेक्सी
crosshair
शॉट
goes Boaster. That's the weapon for
मारा
Tens.
क्या
There's
नहीं
no
नहीं
way
हेलो
to
मार
protect
मार
that.
तू मत
Tens
तू
doesn't know that.
Oh,
Here goes the push
मारा
to FNATIC onto that
थक
B
दिया
side.
डैपर ने
Looking good here to try to recover,
नंबर
but
एडवांटेज है
still
कोई ना
down
होता है
two players. Shazam
नाइस सजाम ने एक
peels
बार
away
लिया
one more.
4v3 easy.
2v3
नहीं भाई ओटी नहीं
for FNATIC.
एक और
नहीं
गया.
नहीं नहीं होल्ड कर ले लास्ट
Sentinels
प्लेयर होल्ड
looking
कर
to
ले
bring this
कुछ नहीं
one to
होता
an overtime.
क्यों
But Doma, maybe he can still deny it. He
नाइस
has the spike. There's the bait. And
भाई
it's
क्या
gonna be
खेला है
for
टेंस
Sentinels.
क्या खेला है टेंस
Overtime
सब
here,
कॉल
really.
सुनी
Round
टेंस
one of this grand
मेरा
finals
बंदा
is
देख मेरा
overtime.
बंदा
Oh shit.
We
सब
wouldn't
मेरा
want
कॉल
it
सुना देखा तूने
any
एरिक
other way.
क्या बे
Back
ओटी नहीं
across
जाना
the
था
board for everybody. Look it up there. You got, I think you got
Easy.
two
खामा खा
doubles. It would be on the side of, I think,
सजाम का
FNATIC
भी
is on
बहुत
the left side
important
there. I'll
था
have to see the scoreboard again if we do, but
ये देखिए ये वाला
everybody is
टेंस
putting
हाँ
in work
डर
right
का
now.
डर
We
का
see
pick.
the end of this round coming through.
Yeah.
So, we break it down now.
And
to
ये
the
pick भी.
overtime rounds. Everybody's gonna have full
नहीं नहीं
util,
पिक
full
वापिस से
guns.
हक
We'll
दिया
see
ना
if we
पिक
get the
करके
naked up in there. That's just the
ओ ये झॉम
perks
से
of
मारा
the
क्या
op. You're not
मुझे
gonna
लगा
get
सिक ने
anything
मारा
else.
ओ भाई सजाम को देख
Doing a two-step.
सजाम को देखा एरिक तूने
So, no operators.
हम्म
We see the Phantom being favored with
टेंस
few
देख
taps in
टेंस फुल
hand for
चिल
those one taps. We'll see what the angles are.
chill
टेंस
mode.
उधर क्या हो गया इसको
Rolls over towards
स्टेरॉइड
A.
पे क्या ये
FNATIC is on defense to start our overtime round with Sentinels on attack.
And Durka, oh, gotta be careful. The dash comes through. Gravity well will be expended there. That was there to try to catch any aggression from ropes. Of course, Durka's able to.
स्पाइक ले लो भाई स्पाइक ले लो
That's an early victory
स्पाइक ले ले रैपर
in control for Sentinels in this round as they force Durka away. But Durka is rotating through to B heaven.
ओडिन नहीं ली क्या इन्होंने
अच्छा ये लोग भी मिड ही प्लान कर रहा है और
And Sentinels, you know, there's a lot that they can do here. They can pressure ropes. They can try to take.
सच में इसमें मैं मिड कंट्रोल लेने से
नाइस पिक सेक्सी पिक
इम्पोर्टेंट.
बहुत ही सही पिक लिखा कोई ना होगा होगा टेंस करेगा तू
First blood going to Tens.
ओह
Boaster looking
डर
to
के
set
को
up
कैसे
by
मारा.
Doma, but they have to watch two
बहुत
positions.
सही
They could be in a bad spot as another Nebula goes up and they're entering B.
सडनली मैजिक
बहुत
करता
ही
है.
सही
Pretty damn good flash, and that's
1v4 1v हो जाए इजी है बे इजी है मैग्नम बहुत कल का लौंडा भी है
can't make that.
30 seconds left.
नाइस वन
एक के
जॉब
जैसा है मैग्नम.
Magnum's just got
दो
so
गोली
many
का है
players
मैग्नम
left to
कर
deal
लेगा
with.
तू ये तो सजाम मारते
Ice Orb coming
Oh, they're
Sexy.
gonna throw the kitchen sink
खत्म
out again.
Yeah,
क्या हो रहा है हेलो फनाटिक
is left
नहीं हो रहा क्या
for Magnum.
ओ फनाटिक
अभी होगा
Closing out the first round of overtime.
फनाटिक
थोड़ा
अभी
सपोर्ट
होगा अभी
देख रहा है?
होगा
You gotta say his name again.
ड्रॉ होगा अभी
ड्रॉ नहीं होगा.
ना होगा बे तुमसे कुछ ना हो
What a last
भाई
few
फिक्स
days
भाई
of
जॉम्स के
play.
फ्लिक्स ओपी भाई
And honestly,
अच्छा एके से लोग ड्रॉ वोट कर सकता है क्या.
नहीं, पागल है क्या टूर्नामेंट मोड चालू
ड्रॉ
है।
ड्रॉ क्या डिमोट मैच है क्या टेंस का
ड्रॉ करने से 1-1 इजी.
ये लोग को ऑप्शन ही नहीं आता ड्रॉ का
चलता रहेगा 14-14 15-15
डिफेंस नहीं हो रहा ना सेंटिनल्स में होगा होगा
हाँ
ये
डिफेंस
राउंड
नहीं
होगा
हो रहा.
ये राउंड होगा
अबे लोग मिड मिड लीव कर दिया देख.
अगर टेंस मेरी बात सुनेगा ना तो होगा
हेलो
ये जा रहे हैं।
ब्रो मिड लीव कर दिया क्यों.
क्योंकि ये जा रहे ना स्पाइक
नहीं
तो ले लो स्पाइक तो ले
मैं तो
लो
डिफेंडर्स को बोल रहा हूँ.
बी होगा ये
अच्छा मिड ओके साइड आने
मिड है
दिया
तो
रिटेक करने का.
नहीं मिड है तो
रिटेक ही कर. मिड नहीं है कोई. हेलो
अबे हेवन है ना आगे
वही
स्पाइक
तो
उधर ही है
वो-
स्पाइक उधर ही है देखना स्पाइक उधर ही है स्पाइक उधर ही है
एक वेंट्स के अंदर है क्या ये
वेन छोड़ स्पाइक दे कहाँ पे बी करने वाले लोग
मैं बी लग रहा बी हो पिक मिल गया उसको बोल पिक मिल गया
बी होगा
वो तो हिल ही नहीं रहे भाई डैपर
इनका रीडिंग सही है हेलो डैपर को देख
डैपर खड़ा वहीं पे
रीडिंग सही है इसका
वो भी चेक करेंगे क्रॉसहेयर देख डैपर गोली चला डैपर गोली चला अबे यार
जीत गए गाइस कल आना हेलो फनाटिक परसों
इजी डैपर इजी टाइम
परसों अबे हो गया खत्म जीत गया
एक ही तो मैप है भाई एक मैप है
इजी 4v2
इजी अबे जीत गए क्या 4v2 भाई इसका डीले बंद करो भी
मैं जीत गए भाई हेलो आजा हम बता रहे
इजी है बे कल आना हो सो जा जा रहे से फूकने जा रहे हैं
चलो आधे घंटे के बाद स्टार्ट होगा नेक्स्ट गेम खेलना है मतलब
आधे घंटे का गैप है क्या
मैं ओसु
2 मिनट का ही होगा
एक केस ओसु ट्राई करना नॉर्मली रिलीफ के लिए
क्या ओसु क्या है
नहीं ओसु वो है जो
क्या
टेंस करता है
क्या करता है टेंस एम लैब की तरह है क्या
हाँ एम लैब की तरह
क्या है ओसु बता गूगल पे सर्च करो
हाँ गूगल पे ओसु
स्पेलिंग बोल
ओएसयू
हाँ ओएसयू हाँ डाउनलोड करो उसको
क्या कुछ अलग ही दिखा रहा है
अबे ये बड़ा बेकार लगता है बे
भाई बहुत सही है मुझे भी बेकार लगता था प्रैक्टिस कर रहा हूँ डेली
किससे करते हैं माउस से करते हैं क्या
हाँ माउस एंड कीबोर्ड जो भी जो
क्या है किधर है ओसु मेरे में तो कुछ अलग ही आ रहा
osupy.sh
ओसु पीपीवाई ये वाला लड़की जहाँ पे है
हाँ वही
डाउनलोड ओसु फॉर विंडोज कितने एमबी का भाई ये हो भी गया डाउनलोड केबी का है क्या
4 MB का
क्या बे छोटे छोटे एप्लीकेशन रखने का नहीं तो पीछे स्टैंडर्ड अलग है अपना क्या करो अब इसका also will install to your game client is being updated
need to watch my stream में भी
डाउनलोडेड हो रहा डाउनलोड हो रहा
मैं तुझे बताता हूँ कैसे खेलना है इसको
गेम है क्या वैलोरेंट जैसा
एमलैब जैसा
हम साथ में खेल सकते हैं क्या 3 जन
हाँ कस्टम का ऑप्शन है कि नहीं पता नहीं बट ड्यूअल का है डुओ का है
करना क्या है वो बता मैं यूट्यूब करूँगा
Welcome to us. Click the circles.
क्या करना है इसमें? मुझे तो घंटा नहीं
partnered with the Public Good Project, a public health nonprofit to design a
अबे
free
करना
mental
क्या
health
है? मुझे
advocacy
घंटा नहीं
guide
पता
for
था।
सुनो
content creators,
पहले ऑडियो में
trainers,
जाके
and
मास्टर वॉल्यूम
moderators
कम
in
करो।
North
हाँ वो कर
America.
दिया। अभी
The
इसमें क्या
guide
करूँ?
provides resources,
इसमें
tips, and
पहले like
information from top mental health organizations aimed to guide
हाँ बाय
conversations
डिफिकल्टी में
around
जा।
mental health. It's available for
कहाँ है
anyone who
डिफिकल्टी?
wants to support
बाय
their viewers,
डिफिकल्टी ऊपर में
fans,
आएगा।
and friends who may be
कहाँ है? हाँ
struggling
बाय
with mental
डिफिकल्टी।
health conditions.
हाँ
Head on
1
over
स्टार
to
में जा।
1 स्टार में गया।
हाँ
riotgames.com/mental
फर्स्ट वाला
health
सेकंड सेलेक्ट
to
करो
learn
न्यू
more.
बिगनिंग्स।
Welcome back
न्यू
everyone to the
बिगनिंग्स।
studio here,
हाँ
and man,
वो
I
ओपन
was
कर।
हेलो।
looking at the script real fast, and then Sentinels kind of Sentinels, you hear me? Sentinels kind of like gave up the script, and then FNATIC was like, no, we want to
वेट यार
rewrite the
मैं
script.
वॉल्यूम कम
So I'm
कर।
kind of glad that this is the situation that we find ourselves in. Sentinels take map 1, and the script is
हाँ
fine. In
नहीं
this
नया
first
अकाउंट का
best of
जरूरत
5
नहीं है।
series, not been
अगर
silly.
लॉगिन
We'll take
करना
a
है
look
तो
at our
क्रिएट
Prime
कर।
Gaming map highlights here, but what a
विदाउट भी
way
कर
to
सकता
kick
है।
off the grand finals.
प्रैक्टिस।
My goodness, I'm all hot and bothered.
Golden Boy, Potter, Mitchman, there's no better way
Normally
to
play
start
the
this off.
Vowels.
Kick things off in the grand finals of Masters 2. An
Play
overtime
solo.
map on map number 1, and this was off how good Fnatic looked here on the attacker side. I
न्यू
did want
बिगनिंग
to
करो
mention that on
उससे तुझे
that
पता
on that
चले
intro
जो
before we got into that map.
डॉट के ऊपर
Bringing out of
सर्किल
Sky,
होता है ना
walking
सर्किल
deep, and keep the
एग्जैक्टली
jet
उसके
banned.
ऊपर
I
आता है
think
ना
they
तब
used
क्लिक
that
करना।
perfectly. The way that you actually had the Sky flashes to come out
उससे
to
पहले
enable
क्लिक
Durka
हाँ
to just run not only
एग्जैक्ट
behind
टाइमिंग पे क्लिक
Trailblazers,
करना।
flashes, and the Seekers, but it enabled him to also create that space, get the first bloods when they could on the attacker side, and also allow the rest of Fnatic to really move in together right after that. So I think they played a perfect attacker side too, but there had to been a lot of highlight plays for Sentinels to be able to pull that off. I think they lost a bit of that drive whenever they had that tech pause, and Fnatic just took advantage of that and just ran with it. So you have to be careful with it right now, right? It's been a sweaty first map. It's been stressful for Sentinels, where it's a map that they're supposed to win quite easily, but now you get into map 2, where it's technically Fnatic's playground.
Yeah, and it's very clear that Fnatic are in the heads of Sentinels here, because everyone said, we joke about the script or whatever, but you know, conventional thinking will have you believe that Sentinels should have walked away fairly handedly, given the results that we've seen in the past of Split.
प्ले में बाय
This
डिफिकल्टी
should
सेलेक्ट करो।
have been a decisive Sentinels victory. Instead, it goes down to
Collection,
OT. They're struggling to
collections,
pull up the
recently
win. They
played.
do so in the end. That's what matters for those guys. They get one
1
on the
star,
board.
1
But
star।
Mitch, one player who we talked about in the pre-shows having the best day
या
ever, and his
उसके
day
बाद
seems to just keep
ये वाला
getting
करो
better.
मिराज
ये तो
का।
इजी है बे। हो गया मेरा गेम कंप्लीट हो गया।
हाँ नेक्स्ट ए वाला करो उसके नीचे फिफ्थ वाला फिफ्थ मिराकल सुगित है।
ऑनलाइन रैंकिंग देख लो। मैं तो फर्स्ट पे हूँ ऑनलाइन रैंकिंग में। तो इजी गेम है।
तू अकेला है तू अकेला।
क्या करूँ बाय डिफिकल्ट में?
हाँ उसका ओपन करो।
6 स्टार में जाके फर्स्ट 6 स्टार
न्यू
कर रहा हूँ।
बिगनिंग पहले न्यू बिगनिंग करो उसमें तुझे बेसिक बताएगा।
भाई हेलो भाई हेलो
क्या हो गया?
डिफिकल्ट में देख भाई डिफिकल्ट में देख भाई हेलो माउस भी नहीं घूम रहा मेरा तो।
वो बताएगा बताएगा
भाई मुझे नहीं खेलना है गंदा गेम।
मास्टर वॉल्यूम
Hello and welcome to OS. Let's learn
See you
how to
next
play.
time.
Yeah,
Sayonara.
undoubtedly. And what makes
So,
that
अभी
challenge is
मुझे भी ऐसे लगा मैंने अनइंस्टॉल भी कर दिया।
अबे जो पता है यार एक बात पता है तुझे अभी अमंग अस ना एपिक गेम्स पे फ्री हो गई।
You can then learn more
कर ली
skills by
हो गई
using your clicks
अभी भी
to
चल
use it.
Yeah,
फ्री चल
exactly.
रही
And we know
तो
how good
क्लेम कर
all
ले।
of these players are.
क्या
But take
करा?
a look at Shazam's
मैं
position.
स्टार्ट हो गया बे।
In the ropes area, he sniffed out a potential
मजाक कर रहा हूँ
collapse
भाई।
coming his way, and instead of going for the easy eco
मैं 1 मिनट
kills,
खाना
he
लेके आ रही
dashes
हूँ।
away, he sets up a trap, and the Sentinels just mow them down. And this duel right here, another important
Sliders
factor.
build on
Sentinels, they're
certain
not making it
mechanics.
easy for
Click on the
Fnatic
start
to just
position
हाँ
slide
just
those
सर्कल
like so.
क्लोज हो रहा ना
those
Then
5
एकदम
ult
उसके
kills.
ऊपर आने के बाद
Anytime they get
follow
contact,
this
if they're
ball
garnering
at
that
a
aggro,
predetermined
they're bait and
speed
switching,
along
they're
the
double
track.
peeking, they're doing a
If
lot
a
of
slider
clever
then
plays.
has
ड्रैगिंग का
those
अगर
zero,
बड़ा वाला है
you
तो
can
ड्रैग
follow the
कर
ball
लेफ्ट क्लिक
back
होल्ड
towards
करना।
two.
These kinds of rounds.
Yeah,
So try
you
some
know
of
what?
these yourself.
This game has been incredible, and it's already been game one. Only game one. We couldn't have asked for a better way to open up the grand finals here in Reykjavík. But for
The
now, let's send it over to
spinner is
your
the
casters as
simplest
we get
object
ready
type.
for map number
Just
2.
hold your
It's
mouse button
DDK
and spin your
Rivington.
cursor around the center of the screen as fast as you can. Now you try.
As we get ready, I'm ready, man. I'm ready to go. River, you ready to go?
Absolutely.
And that covers the
Can we
basics
play
of
all the
OS
rest of the
gameplay.
maps at once?
To see
Is
if
that a
you've
thing?
really got the hang of this,
That
try
wild?
playing the song to its
हाँ,
end.
किसी भी direction में spin कर
If
सकते
you see anything below 300 here, that means you're clicking beats too early or too late. Also, you can click with the X and Z keys on your keyboard. Good luck and have fun playing OS.
Looking at Sentinels squad, they got everything from the Rays, the Viper, to the Astra, to the Reyna, as we would expect. And I don't think we're seeing too much different on the other side. Sova, Brim, yeah. So we're good to go. We're good to go. Composition played 25 times by FNATIC. Tried and
Hello
true.
and welcome to
Coming
OS.
out of the
Let's
prime
learn how to
game
play.
select for them here on Bind. And Sentinels have been running this one for
So, OS is
4
a game
plays,
about
which kind of does
circles.
span
When the
a bit
approach
of time,
circle
but I think
touches the edge of
25,
the inner
rosters
circle,
of this
that's
age
your
select
cue to
for
click
FNATIC.
it.
Beats that out.
You can
And that
then
might be
earn
why
more
FNATIC is
score
so
by
damn
accurately
good
syncing your
on
clicks to the
Bind.
music.
Attack win
Give
rate
these circles a try.
62%, defense win rate 62%. So it's like I said before, when you're looking at win rate percentages on maps for sides and whatnot, you're at your 54s, you're like, all right, that's decent. 58s, you're getting up there. Whenever it's over 60, you're like, holy crap, this team
Sliders
is doing
build
something
on
real
circle
good on attack.
mechanics.
So let's see what FNATIC
Click on
has.
the
This is
start
their map, this
position
is their
just
pick.
like a
We're
circle,
into map 2 for
then
grand
keep
final.
holding the mouse button as you
FNATIC
follow this
kicking
ball
things
at a
off with the
predetermined
attack.
speed along the track.
And Sentinels might bring the
If a
action
slider
to
then
them here,
has
looking
a
maybe for
reverse
like a
arrow,
swing,
you'll
but
need to follow the
will be,
ball
falling back,
backwards
actually.
too.
मुझे तो बहुत पसंद आया मैं 2 दिन से खेल रहा
Close to taking a lick of damage, but the orb control is with FNATIC now.
See you next time.
The wall is quite annoying to deal with. I'm liking the
अगर इससे वैलोरेंट का
coming
लाइक
through from FNATIC
वार्म अप का रूटीन बनाएंगे तो
suggesting that
इजी
they're doing
होगा
a big rotation, but what does it really mean?
सही है वे
We're going to want to confirm this info with a
शुरू हो गया
and they just saw nothing off of the peak. So now that means that there's an
बाइंड शुरू हो गया भाई
hole here that Sentinels are throwing away because they think that this is definitely an A play. Beautiful fake from FNATIC, my goodness.
See you next time.
Oh, I got Boaster in there doing the flex with Brim. He runs in there solo, runs back out. The wall gives him a bit more cover, and now it's a scramble. Shazam here on the outside. His shock dart is already, or sorry, sonar dart.